In deze finale over 4 keer 400 meter start Nederland helemaal aan de buitenkant met Lieke Klaver.
Set.
De banen daaronder Groot-Brittannië, Duitsland, Polen, Italië en Oekraïne. Klaver individueel vijfde. De vrouw met zoveel snelheid in de benen. Ook zij heeft veel races dus gelopen al bij dit kampioenschap. En Klaver pakt de leiding. Daarachter Groot-Brittannië, Duitsland en Polen. Klaver neemt afstand. Maar moet de bocht nog door en dan het laatste stuk. Om vervolgens het stokje zo dadelijk over te geven aan Marit Dopheide. Engeland 2. Duitsland gaat naar 3. Daar staat klaar Marit Dopheide. Ze pakt het stokje goed aan. En heeft dan Jodie Williams achter zich. Williams de nummer 3 uit de individuele finale. Heeft meer snelheid. Gaat voorbij Marit Dopheide. Dopheide moet haar eigen race lopen. Kan nu in de rug van de Britse mee. Dopheide gaat goed. Duitsland in derde positie. Dan Polen op plek 4. Groot-Brittannië aan de leiding. Dopheide loopt prima tot dusver. Marit Dopheide kan zijn stand houden in de bocht. En zo dadelijk als tweede wisselen. Of komt daar Polen toch nog voorbij? Polen nu naar positie 2. Dopheide gaat stuk. En valt terug naar de 4e plek. Daar staat klaar Lisanne de Witte. De Witte pakt het blokje goed aan. Dopheide helemaal kapot van vermoeidheid. Polen aan de leiding. Groot-Brittannië 2. Duitsland in gevecht met Groot-Brittannië voor de tweede positie. Dan daarachter op plek 4 Nederland met Lisanne de Witte. Lisanne de Witte moet het ook hebben van het tweede deel van haar race. Het gat is wel groot hoor. Nog altijd Polen. Duitsland valt terug. Groot-Brittannië. Pipi nu over Polen heen namens Groot-Brittannië. En Lisanne de Witte schuift op naar de derde plaats. Komt wel een tikje dichterbij. En dan een misstap bij Polen. Lisanne de Witte kan zo dadelijk overgeven aan Femke Bol. En dan moet Femke Bol het af gaan maken voor Nederland. Femke Bol in tweede positie. En Bol zit heel goed in de rug van de Britse Jessie Knight. Femke Bol. Het ziet er overtuigend uit, zoals altijd. De ontspanning, zoals altijd. En de bel klinkt en Bol maakt wat extra meters. Heeft ze nog die kracht in de benen? De individueel kampioene, daar gaat ze. En als Bol gaat, dan is ze niet te achterhalen. Femke Bol maakt het af voor Nederland. En hier komt dan de 4e gouden medaille bij de Europese indoorkampioenschappen. Voor Nederland, het beste land bij dit toernooi. Goud voor Nederland, 3:27:16. Schitterend. En zo dus 4 maal goud, 1 keer zilver en 2 keer brons in Polen. Lieke Klaver, Lisanne de Witte, Marit Dopheide en Femke Bol zorgen voor die laatste 4e gouden medaille. Een schitterend resultaat. 3:27:15 is dan ook nog eens een keer een kampioenschapsrecord. Dat geeft het nog meer glans. Het zegt veel over de geweldige prestatie van die Nederlandse 4 keer 400 vrouwen. Wat mooi, ook voor Lieke Klaver. Individueel net tekort gekomen in die finale. Wat mooi voor de Witte en Dopheide. En natuurlijk Femke Bol. Individueel goed voor goud op de 400 meter. En nu ook met de 4 keer.
4 women, 1 baton. And a gap that closed in a way the timing system almost didn't believe. That is what happened in the women's 4x400m relay final. Not a gradual overtaking, a dismantling. And it started not at the gun, but on the back straight of the third leg. At a moment most viewers assumed the race was already decided. By the time the baton reached Femke Bol, the Netherlands were running 5th. 5 teams ahead of her. Broadcast commentators had already shifted to framing Great Britain and Germany as the medal story. What happened next made analysts re-watch the footage 140 times. Keep that number in your head. We will come back to it. The race began with Great Britain setting an aggressive opening split of 52.1 seconds on the first leg. Germany matched the tempo at 52.4. The Netherlands came through in 53.0. That deficit, 0.9 seconds, is manageable but uncomfortable in a relay format where indoor tracks compress the margin for error. Every meter of the 200-meter back straight matters more than it looks from the stands, because tight bends rob outside runners of both speed and positioning. The second leg widened the gap further. Great Britain's second runner held their advantage, crossing at a cumulative time that put them roughly 8 meters ahead of the Dutch. Germany maintained contact with the leaders. The Netherlands were not panicking, but the handoff position told a quiet story. Their third runner received the baton at a deficit where, in most elite relay finals, medal ambitions quietly die. Here is the part that does not make sense on the surface. The Dutch third-leg runner, rather than chasing immediately, ran the first 150 meters of her leg at a controlled 14.1 meters per second average, fractionally below her maximum. She was managing lactic acid accumulation, keeping her stride length at 2.55 meters rather than the 2.35 meters that panic-induced overstriding produces. That restraint cost her nothing in position. It preserved everything for the athlete waiting at the final exchange zone. Femke Bol received the baton in 5th place. The deficit to the leader was approximately 40 meters. In open 400 meters racing, 40 meters at this level represents roughly 3.1 seconds. Bol's personal best for a flat 400 meters is 49.44 seconds. She entered this anchor leg needing to cover that deficit and then build a winning margin against athletes who had just run their own fast legs in a championship final. What she produced over the next 47 seconds is a case study in how physiological preparation expresses itself under maximum competitive pressure. Her first 100 meters split on the anchor, timed at 11.8 seconds, indicated she was already operating at 97% of her peak velocity. Most relay anchors take 60 to 80 meters to reach top speed after receiving a moving baton. Bol was near maximum output within 40 meters of the exchange. The acceleration curve was not gradual. It was almost vertical. The common assumption is that the fastest individual 400-meter runner always wins the anchor. This race tells a different story. Raw speed alone does not close 40 meters on a championship field. What closed that gap was Bol's lactate threshold, her ability to sustain 95+% of top-end velocity through the 250-meter mark of her leg, where most competitors begin the involuntary deceleration phase. Her stride frequency held at 4.85 steps per second through the back straight. The comparison runner from Great Britain dropped to 4.6 steps per second over the same section. That difference, 0.25 steps per second, compounded over 100 meters of racing, represents approximately 1.4 seconds of time lost by the British anchor. Against an athlete already moving at 9.1 meters per second average across the full leg, that arithmetic becomes brutal. So what does this tell us about elite relay construction? The Netherlands did not win because they had the fastest team. Great Britain and Germany both fielded squads with comparable individual credentials. The Dutch won because their race design was architecturally superior. Conservative early legs, a controlled third leg pace, everything delivered to an athlete who specializes in exactly this kind of high-deficit, high-pressure finish. The baton order was not random, it was calculated. The uncomfortable reality for relay programs across Europe. Some analysts argue Bol's anchor performances are so dominant they distort team selection logic entirely. Build your squad to deliver a clean baton in reasonable contact, and you have a weapon most nations cannot match. That is a valid, tactical framework. It is also, in a sport that prizes forerunner cohesion, a slightly unsettling one. What do you think? Is a relay that depends this heavily on one athlete a genuine team performance, or something closer to a solo exhibition with support? The deciding factor was not the final 100 meters, where Bol's lead was already established. It was the 40-meter window between the 150-meter and 190-meter marks of her leg, the point where Great Britain's anchor had to choose between maintaining form and attempting a response. She attempted the response. The stride length shortened. Ground contact time increased from 0.118 seconds to 0.131 seconds. Those 13 milliseconds, repeated across 50 more strides, are the mechanical signature of a runner exceeding her sustainable pace. Once that happens, the gap does not hold. It widens. Bol crossed the line, having run her anchor leg at a level consistent with a 50.1-second equivalent 400 meters under relay conditions. A performance that, in an individual final, would have been medal competitive at any championship in the past 8 years. The next time you watch a 4x400 relay, ignore the exchange zones and watch the 150-meter mark of every leg. That is where the race inside the race is decided. Who is still accelerating? Who has already begun to manage their decline? The baton tells you who is in front. The stride frequency tells you who is actually winning. If you want to understand how relay tactics interact with individual event physiology, the 400 meters flat, the 400 hurdles, the mechanics of baton speed through exchange zones, there is more of that analysis on this channel. Subscribe so you do not miss the next breakdown, and drop a comment with the relay race you want examined next. The comment section gets read.